Hey, thanks for coming over here to C47 Digital Studios to learn more about video podcasting. If you found this page, then you're here looking at our services offerings, and I wanted to just have a frank discussion with you about what video podcasting means and can do for your business. And I'm actually on the page right now just reviewing our own content so I can speak to it directly. We are a full service video podcast production company, and as such, and I'm sitting here in Studio B right now. We have 2 studios in Winter Park, Florida, but I want to set your expectations that a good majority of our clients actually do this virtually. In fact, some of them I've never met in person, and it's perfectly all right. We align very well. We're in a digital age, and we help them record from afar, and then we do quality editing and distribution on their behalf. All of these clients start with a consulting relationship with us and an onboarding time period where we help them really organize and get prepared to be the personalities on a show that will drive business value for their organization. And so you don't have any barriers in your mind when it comes to where you ought to podcast from. The locations for your distribution of your podcast are pretty obvious because there's the bigs. There's, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcast, or actually Apple Podcast is iTunes, Google Play Store, and then there's a whole bunch of, kind of sub brands that are floating out there that we distribute our stuff to. But we know where to put it. But where you actually sit and film it, that's very flexible. And who you have on your show and the structure of your show is really up for conversation. We want you to have a show that is structured well with good sound strategy, using industry best practices, but also maybe ready to flex what it means to do something, best practices. The level of innovation in this industry and almost all creative fronts when it comes to video content, podcasting, video podcasting, you name it. The sky is really the limit to the creativity, but you've just got to have a reason behind what you're doing. And we're really good at guiding that. So, rest assured, we're going to be very full service from concept all the way to completion. And completion would be, delivery of your regularly scheduled show and all of the content that gets stripped off of that. We believe in doing one piece and then making many things out of it. And so if you do, let's say, 1 episode a week, that's your 1 piece per week, but we'll get a whole bunch of video shorts out of that and get that released, maybe just on YouTube. Most of our clients are YouTube and audio, so maybe it's just on YouTube. But if you've also got a whole bunch of social media and you want us to handle it, we can be releasing high quality digital shorts that come from those 1 weekly pieces out to other social media platforms. A lot of value is on the table if that's what you want. And our clients frequently turn to us for additional services. We start with video podcasting. That's where we start, but we don't finish there. We've got clients asking us to do email campaigns. Heck, we even get involved in rebrands and kind of more holistic marketing strategy. There's a lot that we can talk about, but I don't want you to worry about that with us quite yet, because the gateway to working with C47 is always some version of video podcasting. We do content creation. So if you want to do batched bulk content creation, we're really good at that. And then the occasional digital course too. This type of format lends very well to creating content that is basically behind a paywall. And so every year we have a couple of clients who focus in that direction and then do their marketing work here, which is on the other side of the paywall, so that they can get attention for their digital courses. So if that's you, that's definitely a viable option. But, this whole section on our website here, why video podcasting, and it's the power of long form content at scale. Let's talk about that for a second. So long form content to me is 5 minutes or longer. Anything shorter is amenable to a shorter attention span. And, the world has a very short attention span for the looky-loos and the scrollers. But when somebody really wants to hear a whole conversation, they want to hear from an expert, they want to find out somebody's opinion and where the opinion came from, they want to hear your whole story, they will sit and listen. Maybe it's windshield time. Somebody's driving and they get to listen in the car. Maybe it's playing, a podcast on a device while they're cooking dinner or working in their office. It's amazing how many professionals I'll walk in and find YouTube on one of their screens running a show of some kind. And then they're still doing busy work in the room, but they can pick up some of what's happening on a show as they're multitasking. It's just a unique culture that we've found our society in now, and it's very real, and you could be that show that's running in the background. You also could be that show that's very present as somebody's driving between destinations. That's literally how I live. And so I think that there's a lot of merit to you becoming a voice that can be trusted in those moments. And so that's long form content. And I believe you should do it at scale, in the sense that you should not do one recording per week, but you should do as many recordings as you can muster per session, so that you can get yourself ahead. And it helps us get our editors ahead. And it helps our content distribution team get ahead as well. And so as long as you're always ahead, then there's breathing room. People get sick, people miss recording appointments. The world changes. Sometimes it turns on a dime, and if you're ahead, you're ahead. Right. And it gives you that buffer, and we believe in that. Also, the manufacturing world doesn't usually do things as one-offs. A rapid prototype is a very expensive way to get a one-off. Instead, there's usually batch manufacturing. And batch manufacturers sometimes do 15,000 widgets in one session, and then they don't have to do it again for months and months and months because they've built that widget. That's the theory we apply here to how we create. And I believe in that long form content from a practical standpoint on just the nuts and bolts of getting it built. But then also that long form content is a unique opportunity for you to look at two audiences. So most people, when they hear podcast or YouTube channel, they're thinking of the audience that actually would be in the audience. They're the ones receiving the whole show and listening to whatever you've presented digitally into the world. That's a real audience, but that audience grows slowly. It's just the hard truth. People always have this grandiose vision of going viral or becoming the next, pick a guru. Joe Rogan, Ed Milet, John Maxwell, Grant Cardone, Gary Vaynerchuk, Brene Brown, Cody Sanchez. There's just so many of them that we could point to that are all high quality people who took a long time to become the people that they are, in order to become what a lot of us consider overnight successes. And so with that in mind, it's really best that we tell ourselves the truth, that we're not going to be Cody Sanchez tomorrow if, one, we're not the flashy billionaire that I think she's become. I don't know how much she has in her pocket, and that's okay. We don't have to worry about that so much, but she's definitely done well for herself, and kudos to her. But she's also done well over a long period of time and invested very carefully and slowly over time to become the household name that she kind of is now. And so if you're on that journey, it might take you the many years of becoming who you are in public in order to be recognized on that level. And so we would be remiss if we were selling you that vision as a near-term vision. Could you get there? Sure. And did you know that, and I find this fascinating, if your podcast reaches 50 episodes or more, you are in the top 1% of podcasts when it comes to production, how many you've produced, not listenership, but production. So if you break the 50 mark, which that's one a week for not even a whole year, take the major holidays out and it's one a week. That's doable. My show is there, and a couple of our clients' shows are there where they've broken the 50 mark. They're in the top 1% based on production. Fascinating. You can do that. And over time, you do grow an audience. It's amazing when I have somebody come up to me, and my show's called Bootstrapped Unicorns, and it's an entrepreneurship exploration. When people come up to me and go, that episode was outstanding, I go, really, you listened? It's very humbling when somebody has actually noticed your work and listened to your voice. And on my show, I'll tell you, it's actually my guest that is really the voice. I hope I ask good questions. I think I do. But it's really there for the guest to tell their story and influence entrepreneurs. And so that's actually the next point I wanted to make to you is, sure, a big audience is very attractive and it's really far away. So why would you do it? Well, a small audience that's a valuable audience is still a valuable audience. Okay. But that point that I was making about having a great guest on my show is really where the magic is for you. If you can have the right guests on your show, right is also something that gets discovered as a team. I'll help you figure out what's right. But a good group to consider is referral partners, high-tier vendor partners who should be referral partners because they should be in their industry looking for an opportunity for you to get new work so that they can get new work. And then also existing clients and future clients, people that you wish were clients. Those four categories, that third and fourth are kind of in the same crowd, but those categories matter for your business already. But giving that guest a place of honor, so let's go with a referral partner. If that referral partner sees your ideal client all the time and can funnel you work, why don't you give that person a place of honor? Bring them on your show, let them tell their story, ask really good questions, publish and celebrate that relationship that the two of you have, and then keep publishing it with the digital shorts and remind them how important they are in your world. More memorable than a steak, more memorable than a good tee off, more memorable than a couple of beers at yet another networking event. It's a very unique way to spend time with people. And the ROI in relationships is extremely high. If you haven't read Michael Mahar's 7 Levels of Influence, I think that's the name of the book, you really should check it out because it's a relationship playbook. And it really is the crux of video podcasting for business. Building relationships matter. So we give you space and the mechanism to do that with our expertise behind it. And that is really video podcasting. That is what you should be looking at for your business is how do I give myself the opportunity to build an audience while spending time building relationship at the same time. So think about all the boxes that you check. Somebody said you should do a podcast. Check, you're doing a podcast. Somebody said you should be on YouTube. Okay, double check, you did that too. Somebody said you should be doing social media. Check, check, check. All of this content can go onto social media. Somebody said it should be about your business, for your business, to build an audience. Okay, all of that potential's there, a whole bunch of checks. Nobody is saying what I think should have been more obvious for a long time, but I really didn't catch that bug until about 5 or 10 years ago myself, where the guest of honor is so valuable to you and you've built such good relationship that the ROI is near term. That's really what a lot of people have been missing, and I don't want you to miss that. Do you have to do a show with guests? No, you don't. In fact, I've got a potential new client right now. I will leave them unnamed, but I think they're awesome, and I've got great relationship with their top brass there. So we'll be doing a show with them that's all about expressing industry expertise because they have a lot of really cool engineers creating new things that serve a market, and understanding their engineers' expertise is going to be very important for a very niche audience. They're a bit of a unicorn. I would normally steer most businesses to having their referral partners or some iteration on their show. It's not that necessary in that one application because they just need to show that they're industry leaders. So they could do that insular. They could do it as solo casts, which is where one person comes on and explains big ideas. They could do a group of people coming on and they could have conversation about the big ideas they're bringing to market. There's a lot of ways for us to do that for them. So you might fit that category where you need to be the expert on camera and expressing that expertise. Cool. We'll help you with that. We'll help design it. We'll help you make sure there's quality strategy behind it. But I'll tell you, if you've got a business development and sales team that is trying to do something remarkable, you need to highly consider empowering them with a show. And if you're a small business where you've just got maybe one director of marketing or one person in charge of marketing, or even a much smaller team, maybe you're a 4 or 5 person team where everybody's got a lot of hats, this could help you really reorganize your thinking and how you're applying all your social media efforts and all of your biz dev efforts. You work this in, you start checking a lot of really great boxes. So that's the crux. That's the kind of the core of what we believe at C47 Digital Studios. Now, we exist here. I'll tell you, our purpose is to help business in the world thrive in a way where more employees can be hired in good companies that are growing so that families can get well fed. I'm a family man. I believe more in building a great family than anything else. My kids, my wife and I, we focus so much on them. And so my heart is in my own family thriving, and my heart breaks when another family isn't thriving. So building an opportunity here at C47 to help your company thrive matters, because your family and the people around you who help your business go they have families. They deserve to thrive. Now, I've kept you here long enough, and I just thank you for your attention. And I do believe that if you're on an entrepreneurial journey or you're leading a business, that you're doing something great. You're doing something remarkable, and your mission matters. And we want to support that by being a good support system for you to express your expertise and do great business development. So please reach out to us. Let's have a meeting. Let's talk about what you need to do. We're here to help you thrive.